NRL Fantasy Round 1 is in the books, and mate, we're going to be looking at a lot of moves this week. The big thing is we got to look at these big scorers, whether their scores are flukes or whether they were legit. So fluke or real, Round 1. Let's get into it. Bryce Cartwright is the first guy here. Look, 91 points is massive, especially for a guy owned by 1.2% of coaches. One thing I want to highlight here is because some of you guys have been asking about how we look at the stats for players. This is a good way to do it. So you can go into the player, you can see their fixtures, but also you can see the match stats. So for Cardi, you got 2 tries, 2 line breaks. Look, automatically there you're adding 24 points. That's normally not in his scoring profile. 22 tackles is pretty light for him. You've got 6 offloads, 24 points from offloads, 114 meters is pretty legit. Look, he's a really involved player. He played a bit of lock in this game as well. Didn't really convert to tackles, but the thing I'm seeing here is that Cardi played 68 minutes. He only really came off towards the end as well. So I think he could be legit. I mean, he's not going to score 91 every week, but it's 700K. Let's say that's where he is. He could be legit. He's not a guy I'm buying, but at the same time, you could do a lot worse than Bryce Cartwright in the role that he was in, especially if he's going to move to lock when Talangi comes on. Next guy, Adam Fanua-Blake, 81 points. Look, this guy is just a machine. I have no idea why he doesn't have a picture in this, but Fanua-Blake, 81 points. He's legit. He did this last year as well. He played massive minutes in this game. He scored a try, and he had another runaway run as well that was pretty clean. So that's an easy one. Latrell Mitchell, look, he's legit. He averages between 52 and 56 every year for the last 3 years. He could be even better in certain games. So 81 points, it's more than you'd expect, but Latrell is an A1 winger fullback in this comp. At the same time, though, I don't have him a lot higher than, say, Kalen Ponga, who scored 35 points. So, don't go chasing the points, but he's legit. Payne Haas, now 76 points is fantastic. He is an A1 gun. I've been saying must have all preseason. What I will point to here, though, is that Paddy Carrigan was on the edge in that game. So they lost Pierre Kura about 4 minutes in. Carrigan went to the edge for a lot of that game. It meant more time and more work for Payne Haas. Not a lot more, though. I still think he's going to be a guy who averages 70 over the first sort of couple of months. But, yeah, he's legit. He's legit. If you don't have Payne Haas and you can make a move to get him, it'd be pretty hard to get him in round 2, but he's a guy you can go after as well. Joey Manu, this is a fluke of the highest orders. So Joey Manu is 639K. His price is inflated by the fact that he plays at fullback every year and plays at 6 every year when there are injuries. When he's at center, it's more like a 43, 45 average. So I wouldn't be chasing Joey Manu at all. I think this one's one to steer clear from. Isaiah Yeo, he's just that guy. He's that guy every year. 70 is kind of his ceiling, though. Like, he doesn't really go much above that sort of 70 score. So what you're going to get from him is between 50 and, let's say, 75 points every week. He's super consistent for that. So he is real. Olakau'atu. There's a few back rowers like this. So Olakau'atu, my guy's Eli Katoa in the same sort of vein. Olakau'atu had the try, right? So that's what got him to 70 points. He's in 6% of teams. He theoretically could be one of the top edge back rowers in the comp by the end of the year. He's got, look, break even was 52, so he's going to go up in value a little bit, but I wouldn't be breaking the bank to get Olakau'atu in. Garrick, look at center. He might go to wing now with Jason Saab being hurt as well. Garrick he's good. He's good. He's not going to be worth the money that you pay for him next week. He's one of those guys where at some point in the year, he'll be a bit cheaper. That's when we'll all get him. So steer clear of that. Hosking is real, but it's temporary. So 68 points. That had a try and a try assist in that game. Look, Hoskins, he's got great defensive work rate. He's around the ball in attack. He has that spot until Elliot Whitehead comes back in round 4, I would say. So he might keep it longer than that, but I wouldn't be buying Hosking. But if you did start with him, congrats. Ride that train. Val Holmes, another one I was really spooky in the preseason, and I didn't have the space to make it work. But 67 points, cracker. They've got really nice fixtures. So again, if you go to Val Holmes' profile, and we can just grab his fixtures here. So you go Knights, Dragons, Broncos, Titans, Eels, Sharks, and then it gets, actually, you get the Panthers and still some pretty easy games. No buys as well. Not a guy you want to own through Origin because he plays Origin, but Val Holmes is potentially the A1 center for this first part of the year. So, real for him. Tohu Harris, man, this one took me by surprise. I don't think he'd be playing these sorts of minutes this year. But yeah, Tohu Harris, go to the match stats. You can see 80 minutes played in this game. Right, so if you get Tohu Harris 80 minutes, you're going to get 37 tackles, no misses, 2 forced turnovers, 237 meters, 1 penalty. This was a pure base stats performance. So if he plays 80 minutes every week, which I don't know if he's going to play 80 minutes every week, but if he plays good minutes, he gets good points. That's simple. Look, would I break the bank to go get Tohu? 736K, let's say 750K after this week. I wouldn't be busting the bank to go get him, but at the same time, he is an A1 kind of gun. So maybe it's real. It's a real performance. Talon May, this is an exciting one. I have a pod team that he's in, but I didn't pull the trigger of my own team. And again, look at these stats, right? So you've got try saver, you've got 2 line breaks. You actually don't have any major attacking stats in there. 18 tackles, 7 tackle breaks, 2 TOs, and 157 meters gained, and nothing else there. So it's a pretty base heavy sort of. He's just a dangerous ball runner, is basically what I'm getting from this stat line. And in the game, he was creating these things from scratch. So he was barging through tackles. And I look at that and I sort of go, all right, cool, who you got next? We got the Eels, Broncos, Roosters, Seagulls, pretty tough. A bye. Tigers, Cowboys, Rabbitohs, Bulldogs. Yeah, look, and it rolls through. And it's pretty good after that, actually. So you got that early bye round that you miss, which is pretty good. Yeah, look, for Talon May, I think he's legit. He could be a target for you. So if you are lacking in those spots, or if you have, no, I wouldn't trade Pappenhausen, for example, but you got Pappenhausen or Rapana gets moved, or you're relying on Keeney and he's in a bye round 2, something like that. I could see a reason why you would go get Talon May. So I'd say he's real. Jordan Ricky, meh. He's not a bad fantasy producer, but and what's the stat line? So 52 tackles for him. That's 52 tackles, 100 meters. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to go look into this a bit more. I don't think it's legit. I wouldn't go buy him. I don't think there's enough in it to go buy Jordan Ricky. The tighter field, I think, led to a few more tackles, and it was a really good quality game. So same game where Payne Haas scored that 76 points. Tyrell Sloan, this is a total fluke for fantasy. Look, he's turning the corner, and Flano's coaching them brilliantly. But 3 tries, he's not going to score 3 tries every week, and you still only have 107 meters game. So I sort of go, all right, look, that's not great. 64 points at 3 tries. You take out the tries, it's like a 20-point game kind of thing, right? He's going to score tries, but coming to these other games, so Dolphins might let him go, but then you got the Cowboys and Manly who are a bit tougher. Not a bad run of fixtures though, in general. So yeah, look, fluke for me. Cam Murray, 62 points. He is real. We have to talk about it. Terrell May is really interesting. So Terrell May gets the benefit of Lenu being suspended. But the downside is that Jared Hargraves comes back. Look, 54 minutes, 62 points. He's just a gun player. Like that's all there is to say about this. He's forcing his way into the rotations. 28 tackles, no misses. 3 tackle breaks, 3 offloads, 166 meters. This is a very straight up and down stat line where he could replicate that. Absolutely. Can he do it on the wider field? Again, it was one of the Vegas games, so that helps a little bit. But even if he averages that 50 points, right? 492, he goes up into the 5s. I think he's kind of value, right? And you got Manly, South. Yeah, you got a run of games here. You don't have a bye until round 14. So that's actually kind of perfect in terms of the buy cover as well. I think a guy like Terrell May, especially with the cash cows that we don't have, is a guy that if you can make space, go make space. Next one, Sean Johnson, 60. That's real. That's Sean Johnson. Cook, 60. That's legit. That's Damien Cook. Zach Labert, can he do this again? So 509K, people are going to be asking about this. Fluke or real, 2 tries. You got the try assist, a couple of line breaks. 175 meters. Look, he looked really good in this game, but the Dolphins looked absolutely dreadful. And Tessie knew was not tackling anything. The fixtures aren't that tough going forward, but at the same time, these 2 teams can be quite tough. And then you got the Broncos who are quite good as well. So, yeah, I think this is a fluke. I would steer clear of Labert personally. Reynolds, 58. That's legit. Nanai, he scored a try in this game. I'm going to say this is a fluke. I wouldn't fall for Nanai. Just the work rate isn't there for fantasy. Little, 58. He played good minutes. It was the first 68 minutes of this game. He did have a line break that set up a try, but I still think this is legit. I think he is somewhat value. If for some reason Reece Robson wasn't playing next week, I would think about a little just to make some money and then be able to upgrade somewhere else. So I don't mind that. Mortalo, Fluke, 58. He's going to have big games and small games. Don't worry about it. Kenner, Fluke, absolutely. He's 322K for a reason. He might lose his spot at some point as well. Radley's a fluke, 80 minutes, and he scored a try, 57 points. Not that fantasy producer. Cleary is Cleary. Frizzell, he does this every year. Fogarty, 56 points. Is it a fluke? It was a game where he had crazy kick meters, but not a lot of attacking stats. So he had the try assist. They did win the game, so a few goals, but the big thing here was 800 kick meters is insane. It's insane. So Ethan Strange had 0 kick meters in that game. Can he maintain that? I mean, this was kind of a perfect game for him without it, I guess, without the huge attacking stats, though. But I look at that and I sort of go, oh, if his ceiling is that kind of number, I'm not rushing to go get him. It's real, but I'm not kicking myself here. Flegler scored a barge over try, got 56. It's a fluke. He's a 40 kind of average guy. We talked about this in the preseason. 40, maybe 45 if you're really lucky. But 56 is a fluke. Dylan Walker, I actually don't know how he got this score. I like Dylan Walker as a player, but what do you do? So yeah, 27 tackles, 159 meters. This looks kind of real. I'm gonna have to go look into this. Look, I'm not buying Dylan Walker as it stands, but that's a pretty nice stat line. What happened in that game? Because Tohu played big minutes, Fanua Blake played big minutes as well. I'm not sure. Maybe the new rotations with no Josh Curran. They had Lussick come on and play big minutes because Egan got hurt. I'm going to say it's a fluke because Dylan Walker has those games where he has the big minutes in the rotation and then he goes back to small minutes. So, yeah, no go. Tarpanay is real, but priced accordingly. Eisenhuth is really interesting here. So, Eisenhuth, they changed the roles, basically. They had Blake Laurie get hurt in this game, or before this game. They had Jack DeBellin go from lock to prop. They had Eisenhuth go from edge back row to lock. He played 60 minutes at lock, made 39 tackles, and had some pretty nice stats to go with it. 54 meters isn't great. Look, he's just a tackle machine, right? So you get 55 points out of him. It's a fluke. I don't think he will not keep the lock spot, obviously, because Laurie comes back and DeBellin goes there. And he will not keep an edge spot because Luciano Leilua was signed to come across. So I think you steer clear, as much as it was a great performance. Ben Hunt, real. Walsh, real. Turbo, real. Turbo looks real good, actually. We're going to do a video on Turbo this week. Vital Mariner, fluke as well. So he came into the edge spot that Eisenhuth was meant to be on. He had a great game. Vital Mariner is a great fantasy scorer, by the way. I actually think he's a really good player in general, but it's not going to hold up for fantasy. Cleese Haas was actually legit. So Haas, I mean, he doesn't get that many games because Dave Fafita will come back in like 3 weeks and the Titans have a bye next week. But 80 minutes played, 45 tackles, 60 meters. What are you going to do about it, right? Like that's a pretty straight up and down stat line. That's pretty impressive from him. If you've got a draft league and you can go get him, not a bad option. Kerr, I don't think he holds that spot. So he came on when Lemuelu got hurt. He scored a try in this game. Does he remain the starting edge back row going forward? For me, the answer is no. Sonny Luke, total fluke. And it rhymes. Yeah, look, with Sonny Luke, he played 32 minutes, scored 54 points. Very involved, a lot of offloads and that kind of thing. Look, Sonny Luke is not a bad fantasy producer, but the thing I would look at with him is, does he keep a spot in the team? And they really like Mitch Kenny because Kenny just feeds the halves, who are their best players, and Isaiah Yo and these guys. So Sonny Luke, as much as he's actually pretty good, he's a pretty good player. He just doesn't fit the Penrith system. He needs to go somewhere else where he can play that more dominant hooking role rather than being at Penrith where they just want someone to feed the halves, basically. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's not in the team at all next week. If not, then he might be in there playing small minutes. Don't fall for it. DCE, real. Tedesco, real. Could have gone a lot higher, Tedesco, actually. Wilton, he's fine. Eli Katoa, he had some chances where I think he could pop out some big scores coming up. Jacob Safidi, fluke or real? Let's look at the numbers again, right? So this is how we go through it. 50 minutes is nice. 32 tackles, 122 meters. It's straight up and down. The Knights pack is going to rotate kind of strangely this year, so I'm going to steer clear, but I could see a world where he cranks it up. I could also see a world where they rotate. Yeah. Burbo is legit, by the way. Burbo, look at his stat line here. So you got the Burbo stat line, you got the try, you got 35 tackles, 4 misses, but look, South's pretty good in attack. 60 meters isn't great. He's just going to be a starting back rower, 71 minutes played. That's fine. For your center spot at base price, he is legit, but don't expect 50 every week. Gagai's legit. Robson's legit. King was great when he was on the field. Big PPM. Looked a little gassed at times. Smithies could have gone bigger than 52, by the way. He had a HIA. He looked like he was going to play 80 minutes. But at the same time, Horsburgh comes back and Whitehead comes back. I worry about his minutes. I don't know if I'd buy him now, but if you started with him, great job. Jensen, this is a total fluke. So Carrigan moved to edge, and it bought Jensen more minutes. That's what's happened here. I wouldn't be rushing him in. A couple of Hastings didn't score the try. Nico Hines, Boyd. I'm just going to see if there's anyone else that I really need to talk about here. So scrolling through, Lomax had a good game. Hopgood, tough minutes. Lukey kind of fluked it. It's a bit fluky. Yeah, look, he scored that try. It was a bit tinny. There's a few things there. Curran came on because Salmon went to center and he stayed bigger minutes because of that. So I'm still thinking about it there. Tuapiki, he had a really good fantasy performance and he's very energetic on the field, but he had some dodgy plays as well where I don't know if they're going to persist with him long term, especially with Johnson Klogstad coming back. Rapana is so sus. 44 points. He scored that try on the wing. Has the Tigers this week, so you have to hold on. But that could be a fluke. We'll see how that goes. McIntyre is another really interesting one. So for McIntyre, you got, I think it was 49 minutes in this game, 47 minutes. There we go. 44 points in 47 minutes. Again, a straight up and down performance there. 128 meters, 29 tackles. Will Tamalolo play 21 minutes every week? No. Does that mean that McIntyre loses minutes? Potentially. I think that this is one where I don't know, he'll be closer to 350k sort of thing. I might let this one slip through, but at the same time, it was a pretty promising performance. Maybe we do go for him. I mean, one injury to the team, and he would be right up the ranks as well. I might pull the trigger on McIntyre. I'm going to call that real, but it's a bit dicey. Rolling through, Suo Wong, great PPM. He was really good when he was on the field, got that injury. The minutes weren't great either before that. And then I think that takes us through. Like, I mean, there's not too many other guys here that we would be calling flukes because the score is now down to about 40. So look, that's fluke or real with you. Let me know what you think. There's been a few guys, as I said there, that we're pretty interested in buying. It really depends on whether we get a cash cow this week. So with your strategy this week, keep an eye on whether we get someone who's base price. Because if we get a base price guy, we can downgrade someone, free up cash, and then upgrade someone else. If we don't get that, we have to focus on value. So we're going to talk a lot about that this week. Make sure to subscribe here, and we'll see you on the next video. Also, drop a comment with your score this week. Highest scores get shouted out. In fact, let's do a quick one now. We've got Synagag, Eyes, Stormforce, Ricky Baker, Big Jonathan Brown. Got married the other day as well, so good on him. Noah Fitz and Hasta La Vista, baby. We'll throw in the bin podcast in there as well. So I have to check out the In the Bin podcast. But yeah, there are big scores for round one. Let me know what you scored. Probably not as high as that. I'll see you on the next video.